Here we go. We're gonna start off with this first one here. I mean, right now what you're looking at is Donald Trump looking really, really bad here, honestly. But the guy with the really, really exceptionally bad toupee, I believe that is the governor of Alabama, and going to get through that, and then we're going to get on to this really important piece of news. Donald Trump ran on being the peace president. Obviously, it was absolute bullshit. Anybody believe that? You ought to have your head examined. All you have to do is just examine his first term, and you know that he is not a peace guy. He's all about the wars, increasing drone strikes like over 400% in his first term, just bombing every country that he could possibly get into. He did not end any wars, and that whole thing that Donald Trump is mad about is like, how come nobody's giving me credit for ending all the wars? It's 6 wars, 7 wars, 10 wars. I've ended them all. I ended them before they even started. How come you're not giving me credit for it? And, here's the thing. While he's giving this fucking press conference, they are literally starting a war in Venezuela. And I wanted you guys to take a look at this. If you haven't watched this whole thing, look, I watched this shit so you don't have to.
Promise they'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just over the last few minutes literally shot out a boat, a drug carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat.
Look, before he gets really deep into this thing, which honestly he doesn't really get any deeper. He doesn't really deal with details very much. But there is a very small little boat that was going from Venezuela to Haiti, and we have, I don't know, something like I've heard reports of 3 to 8 military vessels, U.S. military vessels, right outside of Venezuela. There's over 4,000 troops ready to, I don't know, invade. I mean, it seems like they're trying to stage a coup in Venezuela. They've already done this once before. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but during his first term, there was a clusterfuck invasion done by Erik Prince. Erik Prince being the brother of Betsy DeVos and the founder of Blackwater, the mercenary group that Donald Trump loved to hire for this kind of thing. I think it was something like $40 million or $25 million or something like that to fund this little excursion into Venezuela. And they ended up getting stopped by a bunch of fishermen. It was such a clusterfuck. It looked terrible and it did not succeed. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but during Donald Trump's first term, they had this weird little parlor game where they were pretending like Maduro, who is the president of Venezuela, is not the president of Venezuela. It is this guy named Juan Guaido, who, by the way, only got like about 4% of the vote. He wasn't even in the top 5 people running for president of Venezuela. But for some reason, America decided, no, we're not gonna accept that Maduro is the president of Venezuela. We're gonna call this guy Juan Guaido. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Juan Guaido was invited to one of Donald Trump's addresses to Congress. And he was like right there in the front row, and he got a round of applause, including fucking Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Everybody was on board with this thing. But so I gave you a little bit of a preamble, and here's Donald Trump. And I want you to also keep this one little thing in mind while we watch this. They have Donald Trump and the regime, including Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth, and we'll get to it, Erik Prince. They are all doing their best to make a combination of the war on terror and the war on drugs. You will hear more and more the Trump administration referring to these people as narco-terrorists. It sounds scary as shit. They're just combining the two things, the war on drugs and the war on terror. By the way, neither one of those has worked out very well, has they? I mean, we've been in, if I'm not mistaken, we're still in fucking Iraq. 20 plus years we've been in Iraq, the war on terror. We haven't solved anything. It's worse than it's ever been. And the war on drugs has been going on since the 70s, since Nixon. And obviously that's not work because there's more drugs coming into this country. If you want to stop the war, if you want to stop the drug problem that we have in this country. You legalize it, you tax it, you regulate it, make sure that people get good quality fucking product so they're not buying outside of the country. And it's the same thing that they did with prohibition back in the 30s with alcohol. When you make it illegal, people start making it on their own and they're getting bad batches and it's green alcohol. It's making people sick and dying. So people are going to do their drugs. They're just going to. So make it legal, tax and regulate it. Look, that's just another conversation. But the whole point behind this is that Donald Trump wants to be able to call anybody he wants a terrorist, thereby giving him the quote unquote executive authority to go and invade a foreign country or to do whatever he wants. He can just call, MS-13, they're terrorists. What's the Tren de Aragua? They're terrorists. We can do whatever we want. We can invade cities. We have the Laken Riley Act. We're calling them all terrorists because Laken Riley was killed by an immigrant, and now it's terrorism, and we can go after everybody. They use the word terrorism as an excuse to just be, to do fascist shit. And Donald Trump loves this stuff. So when you hear people say narco-terrorist, what they're talking about is war on drugs, war on terrorism, combining the two. I got carte blanche. I'm the president. I can make war with anybody I want. So here's the peace dove right here, Donald Trump, talking about blowing up a fucking tugboat, a tiny little dinghy. There's not enough cocaine in there for, just your standard run-of-the-mill Hollywood party. Why are we using military ships to blow them out of the water? I got video on that, but let's go.
And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out...
Yes, this is the same general that was involved in dropping bombs on Iran to go after their nuclear capabilities. By the way, it didn't fucking work. So this great general... doesn't know fuck all what he's doing, or maybe it's just you, Donald Trump.
Potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did.
Yada.
But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from.
That's a threat right there. There's more where that came from. We're invading. I know. Crazy Trump derangement syndrome, liberal over here. I must be nuts. He would never do that. He's a peacetime president. Jesus Christ, go suck a bag of dicks, man.
Drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just...
I thought they were coming in from Mexico. I thought they were coming in from Canada. And now they're coming in from Venezuela. See, he's just got a convenient excuse to play war president. He wants to change the... I don't know if he's already done it or not, change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. He is a wartime president. All he wants to do is drop fucking bombs or give somebody, another country, a shitload of bombs so they can drop bombs by proxy for us.
Came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over.
All right, so let's take a look at this little snuff film that he's got here. Ryan Grimm posted this. Actually, Marco Rubio posted it, and Ryan Grimm reposted it. Let's see if I can stretch this damn thing out a little bit. Here it is. This is the boat. It looks like, I don't know how many people are on this thing, but it's not a big boat. It looks like there might be, 10, 12 people on this boat. And it's a quick video. Just take a look. It's ugly, man. See, it's a tiny boat, man. There ain't nobody in it. And here we go. Boom. Done. Just explosion, man. Jesus Christ, man. We're using the military for this shit. We are literally using the military for this shit. A boat that was going from Venezuela to Haiti was not coming to America. It was going to Haiti, but whatever. Ryan Grimm says the U.S. Naval Armada taking on a dinghy while the IDF opens fire daily on starving people at aid distribution sites. Two nations of terror and coward who deserve each other. Without a doubt, America is a terrorist nation. We are. We are the biggest war makers on the planet. And Israel is our client state that is basically, what did Alexander Haig say? The unmovable aircraft carrier in the Middle East. And they are doing all of our dirty work there. Here's another one. AFP News. Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro said Monday that 8 military vessels with 1,200 missiles were targeting his country, which he's declared to be a state of maximum readiness to defend. So he's feeling the heat. He knows this shit is coming. It seems very likely. And here's the thing. Pete Hegseth and Betsy DeVos's brother, Erik Prince, the founder of Blackwater, they're friends. And they want Venezuela really bad. Erik Prince wants to make money as a mercenary, getting government contracts to do it. Pete Hegseth, he is a warmongering motherfucker when he's not completely drenched in whiskey and beating on his wife. This is what he wants to do. I wanted to show you this. This right here is a video, just a little history of Erik Prince. If you're not familiar with him, just be prepared. The dark history of Blackwater and its founder, Erik Prince.
From killing civilians in Iraq to pitching plans to seize Afghanistan's minerals and flood Gaza with seawater, Erik Prince is no stranger to controversy. The founder of Blackwater, a notorious private military contractor, the American billionaire has, as an independent operative, defied U.S. national interest.
I mean, this guy is a billionaire. Like I said, he is, I believe Betsy DeVos was Donald Trump's first Secretary of Education, who was desperately trying to defund education. She was also part of the Amway family, so I guess that's where they made their billions. And Erik Prince is her brother. And he's a mercenary, not a good dude.
Aided would-be dictators and participated in shady secret meetings. So who is Erik Prince, and what has he done so far? Let's take a look. In 1997, ex-Navy SEAL Erik Prince founded Blackwater as a private security company. Blackwater started out by offering a broad range of protection services, from bodyguards to aerial surveillance, to the U.S. State Department, the Pentagon, and U.S. intelligence agencies. Washington's so-called War on Terror turned out to be a particularly lucrative opportunity for the company, however. After launching its war on Iraq in 2003, the U.S. paid Blackwater $21 million for its services in the Gulf state, and from 2004 to 2007, the company earned a whopping $320 million for its...
Goddamn, man. Being a mercenary pays a lot of money. These are trained military soldiers that are making a penance as a military soldier, and as soon as their time in the military is over with, some people re-up and some people go, you know what, I'm just going to go to the private sector and make 10 times the amount of money being a mercenary. And those are the people that Erik Prince employed in all of this kind of shit.
Iraqi operations. But Prince and his men began to go beyond just protecting people and started engaging in offenses that are widely considered to be war crimes. Between 2005 and September 2007, Blackwater security personnel were involved in 195 shooting incidents in Iraq, with Blackwater employees initiating fire in 163 of those.
I mean, just think about that. These guys are making their own little private wars. They're making their own little private decisions. If you are part of the military, you are subject to the decisions of the higher-ups, the generals, and the president. When you are a mercenary, it seems like you could just do whatever the fuck you want. 195 incidents, and 163 of them, they started shooting first. So these are not good dudes, man. Not good at all.
And in September 2007, Blackwater contractors randomly fired at Iraqi civilians, killing 17 and wounding 20 in the incident that became known as the Nisour Square Massacre.
It's horrible.
Iraqis struggled for justice for years before 4 Blackwater contractors were finally convicted by a U.S. court over their involvement in the massacre.
Donald Trump, he loves to pardon war criminals. He loves. I remember, this is not related to this, but there was a military guy who stabbed a injured Iraqi while he's on a gurney in the hospital. He wore it was like a triage tent, and this guy came in and stabbed him in the chest a shitload of times. Like, you aren't going to talk to anybody about why you're here, and just stabbed the hell out of him. Donald Trump pardoned that dude too.
However, their sentences were never implemented, as Donald Trump pardoned them in 2020 during his first term as U.S. president. On his part, Prince didn't even bother denying that civilians had been killed. Why should he? This was war, he said.
Did your people ever kill innocent civilians?
It's entirely possible.
Instead, he evaded responsibility by changing Blackwater's name to Z Services and then selling it in 2010 when it was rebranded as Academy.
I mean, they're such horrible people, such horrible criminals. They get in trouble so often by doing just the most outlandish, illegal shit. And then they just close up shop and then reopen the name and rename it something else. I think Blackwater renamed themselves like 5 times, but it's still the same group of people with Erik Prince leading the damn thing.
After selling Z Services and abruptly relocating to the UAE in 2010, Prince was involved.
I mean, how are we employing any of these motherfuckers? Seriously. I mean, how do you know that these people have any loyalty to the United States of America? They don't. They're staged in all other foreign countries, making war on their own. And Donald Trump is rehiring them again and again and again.
A multi-million-dollar program sponsored by the Gulf state, among other Arab nations, to mobilize some 2,000 Somali recruits to fight pirates in 2011.
Yeah, what could go wrong? They turn into
His
terrorists.
ties in the region deepened in 2015 when he assisted in recruiting Colombian mercenaries to fight against Houthi rebels in Yemen. Other mercenaries associated with Prince were also involved in attempted and successful assassinations, targeting numerous Yemeni political figures.
We haven't stopped bombing Yemen. We were funding and during Donald Trump's first term, giving weapons to Saudi Arabia so they could do their genocide in Yemen. And recently, Israel just killed the Yemeni's prime minister, just like 2 days ago. Dropped a massive fucking bomb and killed him. So, I mean, goddamn, man, we are just the warlike country of all time.
Prince then shifted his attention to Africa, and during a secret meeting in the Seychelles in 2017, he offered to help Mozambique target terrorists and save its fishing sector.
He met in the Seychelles during the transition with Kirill Dmitriev, who was the head of
the Seychelles. Tucker Carlson's dad was, I believe, the ambassador to the Seychelles. God, it's just so incestuous, this whole thing. Just crooked ass warmonger types. Just, it's so disgusting.
Sanctioned Russian government investment arm, which had close ties to Vladimir Putin. Correct, sir?
Yes.
Your investigation determined that Mr. Prince had not known nor conducted business with Dmitriev before Trump won the election.
In 2019, he came up with a highly controversial proposal, pitching a plan to the U.S. that would have seen him privatize the Afghan army and mine the country's valuable mineral deposits.
My plan would say 2,000 U.S. Special Forces remain and about 6,000 contractors.
That same year, he reached an agreement with China to build a training center aimed at combating so-called Muslim terrorists in Xinjiang province, home to Turkic Uyghur people who face alleged persecution and human rights violations.
Oh, that is true. China does have like about 1 million Uyghur Muslims just locked up in jails all throughout the country. So, man, good God, man. He is all over the place. The UAE, the United States, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and now it's China. He's everywhere. This guy is everywhere. He's a fucking virus, this dude.
By Beijing. Prince's biggest failure occurred in 2020 when he was collaborating with Russia's Wagner Group to provide mercenaries and arms.
Oh, Wagner Group. That is the Nazi wing of the Russian army, the Wagner Group. I mean, good God, man.
Libyan militia leader Khalifa Haftar. Turkey-backed government forces foiled the plan, dubbed Project Opus, resulting in Haftar's retreat. A year after the flop, Prince pitched an idea aimed at developing a private military in Ukraine, despite his close ties with the Russian government.
Well, this is before Russia invaded Ukraine. So, I mean, my God, man, this guy's hands are in everything.
The plan never materialized. Prince has continued to think up ways of profiting off conflict, with Israel's war on Gaza providing him with his most recent opportunity, prompting him to devise yet another controversial scheme, one that saw him deliver Israeli officials with a plan to flood Gaza with seawater.
I still think that the solution is flooding everything with a very high amount of seawater. If they need more help, Texas has plenty.
This guy, I mean, I would call him a sociopath, but this guy is a fucking psychopath. He wants to kill a couple of million people, flooding them with seawater. This is a dark individual.
Pumps available, standing by, ready to go.
Despite a series of failures, yet not ever having been held accountable for the crimes perpetrated by his recruits, Prince continues to propose highly controversial and lethal plans to deal with global conflicts, plans that are extremely lucrative for him and his partners, yet devastating for those caught in the crosshairs or the crossfire.
Man, it is fucking dark. It's dark. Here, I wanted to show you this as well. Okay. Why did Trump deploy warships to Venezuela? Enter the Prince of Darkness, international terrorist. Erik Prince was deeply involved in El Salvadorian dictator Bukele, the prison, the CCOT prison in El Salvador, becoming Trump's go-to foreign black site, and has been pitching himself as Trump's operation manager for mass deportation for several years, including a plan earlier this year that sounds suspiciously like what DHS, ICE, and CBP is planning to do with nearly $200 billion allocated to them with the big, beautiful bill, which is, it was like $175 billion, which, by the way, it's going to be more because he's defunding FEMA and taking some of that money and putting it towards this ICE thing. So, bad fucking dude, real bad dude. Blackwater former founder Erik Prince pitched Donald Trump on a dystopian private army and mass deportation. We got another one here. Trump's supporter Prince reached deals with the Congo to help secure mineral wealth. Blackwater founded Erik Prince to send hundreds of fighters to strife-torn Haiti. I mean, it goes on and on. Maduro cartel is stealing another election from Venezuela. This is him posting this. We discussed different courses of action to remove the legitimate socialist scourge from power. Yeah, like your fascist shit is better than that. I mean, say what you want about Maduro being a corrupt leader and a socialist or what have you. I mean, the same thing was said about Chavez too, but it doesn't hold a candle to this motherfucker. Prince has a very long record of showing in countries to agitate for often violent change in government so he can make money in the aftermath. Now that he has Blackwater, Victus Global, that's what it's been named again. So it's like the fifth time they've renamed Blackwater, Victus Global, to muscle into the mercenary business. But Prince has special hatred for Venezuelan dictator. That's why because he was busted in his last attempt during Trump's first term. I was surprised it wasn't in that video that I showed you earlier, but they all got busted by a bunch of fishermen. It was like, I don't know, like they sent like 60 guys in and they all got busted by fishermen. It was completely embarrassing. He has a special hatred for Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and has been agitating to overthrow the government for at least 6 years. In 2019, Prince pitched a plan to topple Maduro with 5,000 contractors costing $40 million, selling it as a quick, clean intervention that wouldn't burden the U.S. troops. Last year, Prince lost a massive psychological warfare campaign against Venezuela. called Ya Casa Venezuela to oust Maduro. Obviously, that didn't work, but they're trying again to add to the concern about the goals of this operation. The Pentagon is now under the control of theocrat, misogynist Fox News host Pete Hegseth, a close friend of Erik Prince, who was instrumental in getting Hegseth to the top job at the Pentagon, despite Hegseth's total lack of qualifications and character. Quote, "I'm not close to Trump, but I am close to staff," said Prince, including the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The two men swam together across the Hudson River between New Jersey and New York for a charity event. Hegseth and a Fox News host in 2019 advocated clemency for 4 Blackwater contractors sentenced to prison for the killing of 14 people in the Nisour Square massacre. Potential outcomes. It is unclear whether Trump has a specific plan for Venezuela yet, but here are some of the possible ramifications of the provocation, both geopolitically and domestically. As I can tell you exactly what this is all about. It's about the fucking oil. There are the 3 largest oil producers on the planet are Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, and Iran. We already are buddy-buddy with Saudi Arabia. We give them all the weapons that they want to, so they love us, and they give us, well, they don't give us, they sell us oil. But Venezuela, we got an embargo on them. That's pretty much their primary export is oil. So they're selling it to India and China and what have you, but we do everything we can to put an embargo on them so they can't sell it to anybody, because we want to cause strife in Venezuela so the people rise up and take over the country, which has not happened. They keep doing it, but it has not happened. Ultimately, that's what the goal is. Donald Trump wants to free up Venezuela from Maduro so we can send BP and, no, not BP, but Shell and ExxonMobil and all of those boys to go in there and just privatize the entirety of the oil reserves that they have in Venezuela. That's the only reason why we're doing this. We could give a flying fuck. I mean, look, Donald Trump and, in America in general, we have been doing nation building and overthrowing of governments and installing puppet dictators for years. We call South America, even though it is a different continent, we call that our backyard, our sandbox. That's our sandbox out back. We have every right to do whatever we want, even though that's a sovereign country and there's a bunch of sovereign nations. We don't give a fuck about that. I mean, we did Bolivia, we did Chile with, God damn it, why am I drawing a blank on his name? It doesn't matter. We did Chile. We have done so many countries in South America, and we're trying to do it yet again with Venezuela. Its context, Venezuela is geographically strategic, a failing petro state with a huge pile of gas and oil reserves, but Maduro is also making claim to Essequibo, a disputed territory with Venezuela's neighbor, Guyana. The region also unstable, with both Russia and China having interest in Venezuela, as well as active contracts with American oil giants like Exxon and Hess. So, I mean, ultimately, that is what the whole crux of this thing is. Limited strike demonstration of force. It is highly likely Trump is going to immediately execute some kind of limited strike inside of Venezuela with if I'm not mistaken, it was like a month or two ago, Donald Trump put out a bounty on Maduro saying, alive or dead, I'll give you something like, I don't know, $50 million if you can, spirit him out of the country and back to America. They just do this shit out in the open now. They're not even hiding it anymore. Just straight up fascism. Side of the missiles blowing up a drug cartel headquarters or a paratrooper landing in a, quote, terrorist compound is just what he thinks he needs. Consequence of this could be limited if Maduro chooses not to escalate and Russia and China stay out of it, which, by the way, they probably wouldn't. Just recently, we've got Modi from India, Putin from Russia, and Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un showed up. They are all getting together, laughing and chuckling and having dinner together. Donald Trump is basically just given up hegemonic power of the United States. And now all of those countries have combined forces going, hey, we're here. We're not fucking around. There's just as many of us, and our military combined is just as big as yours. So Donald Trump, and he's not helping himself out because he's alienating every other country with his bullshit ass tariffs. He just did a 50% tariff on India because they're buying oil from Russia. I mean, all of this stuff is on a global scale. It is mostly about the petrodollar. But I mean, ultimately, it is just a power grab. That's what this whole thing is about. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that because I think it is absolutely scary as shit. And what's shocking me the most is that nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. It's not on CNN. It's not on Fox. Obviously, it's not going to be on Fox. But it's not anywhere. Nobody's really talking about this shit. You know, you've got a couple of independent people like Ryan Grimm out there that would talk about this, but not many other people are talking about this. And this is huge. This is some huge shit. The peacetime dove president starting another war, another foreign adventure. I mean, we are spread so goddamn thin. I mean, I don't know what Donald Trump wants. Does he want to just basically employ the entirety of able-bodied men in the United States to just do either war in foreign countries or join ICE and police American citizens? I don't know. But this is some crazy ass shit, and it needs to be talked about a fuck ton more. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.